Heavy
Bored.
Well, this is an interesting thing to talk about.
None of it's real.
In the
I don't fucking know.
Yeah. Well, in the context of Dickinson, like in the very first part we did on this, where we talk a little bit about Higginson saying how he couldn't quite categorize Dickinson's poems, and it actually kind of hurt her publication chances because it was so outside of kind of nailing down where it fit in the larger scheme of poetry and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah, we're so worried about that. It's annoying. But, like, I mean, that's the game you play, right? I think that, and you know, I think for some people, maybe it's just like a career game plan. Like, you write to the trend, and, like, that's fine if that's what you do, like, to get your foot in the door. Like, I get it. It's not what there are moments when I think I can do that, and others when I'm like, I can't do this. I can't do it. I just gotta write what I want to write. But yeah, and I think people do recognize that in Dickinson, that, like, you know, she wasn't writing to a trend, it would seem. She was writing what she was writing, and that she didn't have many onlookers. People still argue that that was, like, one of her strengths, or what gave her poetry it's sort of, in a way, like a kind of protection, I want to say, from what we would now think of as, like, the eyes of the workshop or any, like, external critics, because that's what makes you, you know, go back and sort of rethink what you're doing and change what you're doing, instead of necessarily working that one specific thing that you were already doing. If it gets criticized enough, you might be deterred from doing it, and she wasn't deterred.
Yeah, and you know, we talked about this. Phillips mentioned this in his, and I think Culler mentioned it in his too. You listeners can go back and listen to those. But I think Phillips said something about, you know, the most resonant poetry tends to resist easy categorization. So, like, resist this kind of easy categories being put on top of it. And he was talking about this in context of, like, identity politics invading everything, but it's like same thing
as
applies.
Though, like, this is a poem about or like,
right.
In terms of are we talking, like, just style, or
well, if we were to say that they're nature poets, or, you know,
right,
all that kind of stuff, you know, it doesn't, he was talking about in context of
really categorizing as either by theme, or, and not just like the poetry by theme, but like the poet's work as a whole.
Yeah. And the stuff that, like, you know, they resist these kind of easy limitations that categories tend to put on it. But then at the same time, you know, Culler makes that point when we did the Culler episode of, you know, genres and categories are basically bootstrapping. Like, they're just tools to be able to talk about this shit. So, you know, when one blends two or doesn't quite fit, you know, we don't know what to do with it, and that's limiting our knowledge and ability to talk about poetry and other arts like this, you know. So we just have to resist, you know, if you don't fit in a category, fuck it, you don't have to, like, kind of thing. Create a new category, like Dickinson, create your fucking own. But yeah, all right.
But yeah,
Inner
resources, American resources.
being bored,
Some activities are intentional, right?
it shows such a lack of gratitude for life. Bored. I aspire to boredom, I should say.
Bored.
I am heavy.
Bored.
Has you the night sweats and the day sweats, pal? Pal, I do.